just wow. Shane for the first like 5 minutes was just going off.
I don't remember.
We don't need to go back on that.
We don't need to talk about that again.
Are we live? So I just want to share. I had a very special patron episode for Dynasty Trades HQ where I dug deep into the Damir Hamlin situation. You know, him being a clone that was created by the Illuminati after dying from the COVID. Very deep dive. I looked at all the angles, and I concluded that people are fucking stupid, and they should have been swallowed as opposed to released into their mother's uteruses or vaginas or wherever it is they go.
I believe uteri is the official plural.
Because
from the ovaries into the fallopian tube.
Look,
into
all I know
the
is
uterus.
Instead of coming inside of a woman, these particular people should have been swallowed. And or spit out. I mean, that's fine. You know what I mean? Like if good girls don't spit, but like if she turned her face and like spit.
I was like, oh man, I wonder if someone's gonna. Oh no, Shane just did it.
Yeah. Just the bigger point is that these inbred mouth breathers.
Shane, are you still
should not have been allowed
playoff game? Like Philly won Saturday night, and you just continued drinking until now. At any point did you stop drinking?
No.
Backpacks with a spout
I put a lot of thought into this. Look, there's no fixing what's wrong with a lot of people other than they should have been swallowed. And hopefully,
do you think the swallowing should have happened at birth, or do you think we could start a swallowing campaign now? Could you unleash like a herd of alligators throughout the land?
Late term abortion up into the age of roughly 55.
These 5-minute Shane.
And after 56 is when euthanasia starts, or what?
These 5-minute Shane life lessons are really truly becoming a part of the show here lately.
They have been a show. That's why I brought him on.
I'm not sure that this is a life lesson.
Well, I mean,
I wish someone would have told me.
Actually,
I think nice girls don't spit was a life lesson. That was Shane's life lesson.
Well, that's what they told me, and I was like, "Oh, okay, you are a nice girl."
Oh Lord, let's.
This is Fantasy Intervention. Now here to intervene with your fantasy life, Shane Manila, Jacob Sanderson, and Chase Vernon.
Yes.
Welcome
into Fantasy Intervention. We are getting life lessons left and right from the one, the only. Shane is the worst. Down at the bottom, we have Chase Vernon, FF Intervention over here, and we have Jacob, but we have a very, 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 very special guest, Kelly Singh. Kelly in Phoenix. How are you tonight?
I'm very good. I have very good lighting happening. I had my hair washed and dried today. Put a little highlighter on. Feeling good. Good.
I was paying attention to Twitter today, which I normally pay attention to on a regular basis. But today was just being a little bit more in depth because you were coming on tonight. And I noticed that you were sitting in your car by yourself. You know, you got your hair done. You were kind of being weird at the same time. You didn't want to be weird. So you had a nice little girl day today. Little spa day.
Yeah. When I'm in Phoenix, I have a membership to the Dry Bar, which if you don't have a dry bar or don't know what that is, has nothing to do with non-alcoholic drinks. It's a place where you go and wash your hair and they blow dry it for you. And I'm telling you, if there's any ladies listening, I can never get my hair this shiny and smooth and lovely on my own. I don't know
Kelly,
what.
Wait,
Kelly,
are
no,
you
no.
saying?
Hold on. Kelly, I thought you told me that you had a doctor's appointment today when we were talking about work stuff. All right.
Yesterday.
Oh, okay. All right. That's what it was. It was
Yeah,
yesterday.
And actually, the funny part about that is I showed up for the doctor's appointment, which plug for the ladies over 40 mammogram. And it turns out it was tomorrow, Thursday. Tuesday and Thursday both start with T, by the way.
Okay, now you're getting too close to Shane because he didn't know that the geographics and math and all that stuff. But Shane, I guess you need to go and see if there is a dry bar in Philly or close to Philly.
So they blow dry your hair? That's what a dry bar is?
Mhm.
I'm gonna find
They
another
wash it,
bar
they
where they're
scrub
blowing.
it,
It's not
they blow dry it, and look how shiny and
Listen,
like,
It is very shiny.
You
I
said
wash my hair every day. And it's
yeah,
not
but they don't
shiny.
blow
You're not
they don't
supposed to
blow
wash
dry
your
it.
hair every day.
If they blow dried Shane's head, he would have a burn mark on his scalp.
Yeah.
There's
That's
a lot
true.
of people that don't know that you're not supposed to wash your hair every day.
You're not. I wash my hair
that's
once
dirty.
a week.
Ew.
It's not ew. It makes I have the most healthiest hair in the
That's
world.
gross. Women are gross.
Jacob, how often
I
do you wash your
shower
hair?
every day.
I wash
don't
my hair
wash
every
my
single
hair
day. I know that
every day.
people
It'd
say
be
you
dry
shouldn't, but
and
I
brittle
resent
and
them.
break off in little pieces. Like
But Jacob's Canadian, so it's different rules up
I
there.
wash my hair minimum 5 days a week. Sometimes on a Sunday, if I'm not going anywhere, I'm just gonna like sit and watch football with an empty pizza box next to me. I don't feel like I deserve clean air. I feel like I should live as the Neanderthals did, and so I will still shower. But I will allow my hair to bathe in its own grease so that I can feel maximum amount of guilt throughout the rest of my day, in hopes that it'll save me from filling out a couple more showdown lineups on Sunday night than I normally would. The strategy doesn't work. I just end up being a degenerate but looking grosser.
Well, it's the naturalness of your hair. It keeps it fresh. Just putting that out there. It's not actually gross. Unless
Everyday
it smells
wash.
gross, but mine doesn't smell gross. Side note,
No,
I
my
did
sense
feel like a
of smell
weirdo.
sucks
I
anyhow.
sat in my car.
Weird stuff.
I felt so relaxed. And I'm sitting there catching up on emails and tweets and texts and Slack messages. And I'm like, wow, I'm just sitting here for 30 minutes in my car. So yeah, it did feel a little weird.
Well, that is it's not weird. It's only weird. It's only weird if you make it weird. So it's not weird, right? So
I made it weird.
you made it weird.
I'm sure Shane would probably make it weird.
Jay, you ready to kick the show off?
Yeah,
Let's do this.
we're talking
we have
hair.
a lot of
and, you know,
irrelevant fantasy players to talk about today. I looked at the
we
show
got a
sheet.
lot of irrelevant. I don't know about that.
Jacob, you know these are my favorite types
We
of
got
players,
this.
right?
This is Shane. This is Chase's alley right here. All right, real quick, we got a conference
This guy was
championship
really
weekend
bad, and
coming
he
up.
might get cut. But if he doesn't,
Hey, we had a coach hiring this week, Bill O'Brien, real OC to New England. Maybe does it move the needle for you at all for any player in New England, Jacob?
Absolutely not. But I would like to shout out B.O.B. parentheses Bombs Over Baghdad was an incredible song by Outkast. It was #1 in Pitchfork's best songs of the decade.
You were alive for that?
And
No.
I was only 3, but I did read Pitchfork extensively to try and seem cool when I was in my teens.
Shane.
I mean, it moves Mac Jones from like the QB 20 to like the QB 17. So I'd say it's negligible. Only thing I do worry is that I don't remember because I've blocked out the B.O.B. experience from my life is how he handles the running backs. Because I really hope that he's not going to force Ramondre into a committee with Pierre Strong and Kevin Harris.
Well,
there's no reason to do that.
We saw it this year where it looks like Ramondre can actually be a true bell cow. You know, and I know it's New England, so we'll see what happens, but I truly think that Ramondre can be the bell cow that, you know, we all want. You know,
I don't want to live in the world where I ever look at my Ramondre Stevenson teams and I'm like, man, I miss Matt Patricia. I don't want to live in that world. No. That world seems like a sad world.
So did they fire Matt Patricia? Did they send him?
No,
away?
He's been reassigned within the organization. It's like when you have like a political ally and it's called
a restructuring.
This guy used to be our chief of staff, but he accidentally droned a bunch of civilians. and he knows too much, so I don't want to fire him because he could be of too much use to them if he leaks stuff. But I'll just reassign him, and I'll take care of his
Is Canada going to war soon? Because you're talking about bombs over Baghdad and
real quick, I know you're
Outcast
Canadian.
is proudly American.
You're Canadian, so you don't understand this concept. In America,
We drop beavers over Baghdad.
American military, not the military, excuse me, American military brass is fine with drone bombing civilians. That's
all right. So
that's what they call.
Let's move on from the drones
baggage.
and the bombs and all that. Looks like we could have a new head coach in Carolina within the next few days, Frank Reich. That looks like that's a very, very distinct possibility.
Very much love that.
You do like that, Shane?
Yeah, Frank Reich's an excellent football coach. He got absolutely railroaded in Indianapolis.
Kelly, what do you think of Frank Reich going to Carolina if that does happen?
I think that Carolina needs anything that they can get at this point, and any change is probably good change because change brings positive energy. That's my take.
She is being so positive after her spa day today. Chase, with your porn stash, what do you think about Frank Reich going to
I was
Carolina?
wondering. I'm sitting here and I'm counting down. I'm like, okay, we're
What
now
was
11 minutes.
Yeah, he was
into the
over
show.
under. He was over under. How long
I
until
thought
somebody says something?
I was thinking it was going to be 2.5 minutes. It literally took you guys 11 minutes to bring up my stash tonight. That's got to be a record so far on this show.
I think I'm so accustomed to your sexual deviance expressed through facial hair that I've chosen to avoid comment.
The only thing you were missing was like some bling.
Yeah, I got bling.
The only thing he's missing is the newspaper ad.
All right, so
I got bling right here, baby. Okay, I got bling right here. Let's go.
I pray for the women and children of Virginia Beach every day.
Oh,
every day. Last week we talked about a couple players they could take a step forward if the incumbent were to move on in free agency. This week, I want to talk about some up-and-coming players. And as Shane would say, let's not guess, let's forecast.
I'll just say that up-and-coming is being used in a liberal sense.
Absolutely.
You can come up with your own players, Jacob, okay?
These are Chase's up-and-comers. Yeah, that's right. So, but instead of trying to guess, as Shane would say, don't guess, let's forecast the fantasy values. Who's going to break out in 2023? Let's start
I love
with,
how I got to sidestep a Frank Reich question by
you saw that, right?
Thank God. I don't want to talk about Frank Reich. Go ahead.
Hey, as a fellow man of facial hair, you should support Frank Reich.
Fellow man of facial hair.
Let's start up in Buffalo with Khalil Shakir, ranked at 130 right now.
Hey, on this show,
DLF.
he's Shaker. He's Khalil Shaker.
Khalil Shaker.
That was Shane.
Pac.
Ranked at 130 on DLF as far as wide receivers. 13 games, 10 of 17 on the year, 161 yards, 1 touchdown, nothing to write home about. Although during the preseason, he was like 8 of 8 for just about the same amount of yards. Is there any value in holding on to this guy with a wide receiver room of Stephon Diggs, Gabe Davis, Isaiah McKenzie? Let's go to Kelly first.
Nope.
Simple, quick answer.
I mean, that's the guy that's on waivers when you forgot to put in your waivers and you're like, oh shit, I have nobody to play. And there's Khalil Shakir. And you're like, yes, he's good for 2 yards, which is better than a 0.
You're talking about a lot of changes this offseason about Khalil Shakir. I see no changes. Wake up in the morning and I ask myself, is life worth living? Should I blast myself? No, I'm not a fan.
You were on a 90s kick tonight.
That's just the way
Love
it is.
Have you been is that all on like the is that in your earphones right now? Is it you've got to have that in there right now?
I can.
Are you dating a MILF or something? Is that what's going on? You're dating a MILF? Because for your age bracket, a MILF would be what, 36?
Things will never be the same.
Yeah, he's banging it. He's banging someone to grow up in the 90s. Good for him.
God.
Chase, what do you? I know your love for Shakir.
So I'm not a big Shakir guy. Like I'm not, but I do want to hold on to him just based off the situation over there for Buffalo. I don't see them drafting in another wide receiver. I don't see them bringing back Jameson Crowder, Cole Beasley. Isaiah McKenzie is going to be the only guy to compete for snaps with, right? I mean,
When are they going to bring back Lee Evans? How about Andre Reed? I mean, they've already brought back
Andre
Beasley.
Reed.
They brought back Smokey Brown.
Listen,
Hey.
they have.
Smokey Brown, he's got some wheels on him. You just got to give him the ball.
listen.
If he's running the right routes, the issue is him running the right.
I can't listen.
Or the wild card game.
I can't listen to
Eric
Chase say
Mold's
one more
available.
time that the situation doesn't fucking matter when you're not good. He went 10 for 161 this year, dude. He's deceited in fantasy. Look at
James Lofton has anything.
Go look
left
up
in
the
the
wide
tank.
receivers that put up under 200 yards in their rookie season. Most of those names that you see on StatHead, you will think are made up, or you'll be like, "Oh, I remember that guy. I drafted him 4th overall in the XFL." Like it's not.
And now he's on the Ravens.
Okay, Shane. So let's say let's, and I know you didn't do this in any of your 212 leagues. Let's say you drafted him, or in the second round of that one league. Are you sending him for a
Second
4th,
round.
or are you doing a 3rd?
If I get a 3rd or a 4th,
Get
he's
anything?
gone.
Anything?
Yeah,
Okay.
he's gone. Literally, like that's all those guys.
I'll keep him.
just
I'll keep him
reload.
over a 4th because he plays on Buffalo and people are infatuated with that offense. But yeah, for a 3rd, I'll spin the wheel at a 3rd and take a running back instead, which is what I was doing in the 3rd round in the
Okay.
first place.
And
That's
that's
why I
right.
take a 4th. I'll use a 4th on a running back in season. Whatever. Ty Johnson, sure. I got to roll him out this week. Here's a 4th, bro.
Do you want me to wrap Ty Dolla $ign next?
No,
we
no.
already covered 2
I don't
podcasts.
even know
Ty
that-
Dolla $ign's more within my age group.
That dude doesn't even have any good music, so I'm good.
Let's move over to Rondale Moore.
Wow, ouch.
Wide
Ty
receiver.
Dolla $ign catching strays from Shane.
Was Ty Dolla $ign the one that was banging the Jenner?
Shane,
when she
it's
was-
Again,
dollar
Ron-
sign. It's not
Ron-
dollar sign. It's
Rondale
dollar
Moore,
sign.
wide receiver 83, 14 games this year, 41 of 55, 414 yards and a TD. Is he, or can he be the wide receiver 2 on this team if D-Hop gets traded?
That's
the rumor-
not the if. The if is if he can stay healthy. If
Yeah.
that's the big if, because if he had been healthy, he would have been far and wide above Marquise Hollywood Brown, who can barely catch a ball to save his life.
Well, that's
So yes, the answer is yes. He can be the
Shane.
wide receiver 2, but the if is can he stay healthy?
He can be
I'm
the
a
wide
little
receiver
passionate
2.
about that one.
I know that's why I
He can be
made
a wide
sure I
receiver
had
too.
the Arizona on there because I wanted to. I didn't. I almost put Dortch on there, and then I knew Jacob would get all butthurt because
No, I mean Dortch and Rondale Moore are the same player. They're
They
both
are
members
not
of the
the same
Lollipop
player.
Guild, and for as long as they have the support of Oz, they have a chance to be usable fantasy asset.
It's definitely Rondale over Dortch. Dortch has talent. He's great. He put it in there. That doesn't even make sense. He put in the effort and sorry. He put in the effort. He showed, hey, put me in, coach. I'm ready to play. But does that make a player? No. That makes a player for that game. Yes.
Kelly, that was too far back for Jacob. He doesn't know that one. Put me in,
There's,
coach.
there's Rondale and Dortch. I mean, there's slot wide receivers in an offense that clearly feature the slot wide receiver a lot. Like I thought that Rondale's early on role was pretty exciting, and then the fact that he then goes out and Dortch is able to capture all of it, who's been a practice squad player for life. Like
Dortch
Yeah,
has not been
much
able to
difference.
catch all of it. Dortch has
he
had.
did. He was just as productive in the same role. I don't think he's as good or as dynamic, but my point is, what
You just
Rondale's
said they were the
production
same
would seem to be-
player. They're not the same player.
From a dynasty perspective, they are the same player, which is that they're a player that I don't want.
No, so
Shane.
no, we talk about an entire yards per reception more. Like Rondale Moore was far more efficient, and there's only 2 games where Rondale Moore didn't produce while he was healthy. And both of those, I think he incurred an injury in. So I mean, Rondale Moore for me is an absolute buy at his price right now. And I mean, honestly, I think his price is a late second round pick, mid second round pick. I would take Rondale Moore over that any day.
God, I feel like Chase was just put on this earth to make me fucking angry with these takes.
I've
mean,
had a good time for 19 minutes.
I actually
love
kind of like that take there, Chase. I mean, I'm
love
sorry,
that
Shane.
Chase was just comping how more efficient Rondale Moore is than Greg fucking Dortch. Like, that's what you're reduced to.
No, I wasn't.
Dude,
I was just making a statement
he's-
because the
he's
statement
far more
prior to that was
efficient
that they were
than
the same
Greg
player, and they weren't the
fucking
same player.
Dortch.
Rondale Moore was actually efficient.
Rondale Moore.
He saw 8 targets in every single game that he played a full role in, a full complement of snaps.
but then Greg Dortch comes into that role and he gets funnel targets. So
No, he only had
offense
4
was
good
making a
games. He
priority
only
out
had
of this
4
slot
good
wide
games.
So how many
What do
wide
the cool
receiver
kids
1
say?
weeks did Rondale
The
Moore have?
handcuff.
Let's try that.
That's what Greg Dortch is. He's your guy that
Sure, he's not good. Greg Dortch has 0 value. But my point being, I'm not sure that what Rondale was adding to the offense that made him so special when Greg Dortch, who sucks, was able to come in and demand similar volume. Right? Like, I'm not saying Greg Dortch is good. I'm saying Greg Dortch is ass.
Connor. You're making me stop
exactly,
with cheesesteak
Scott.
in my
Thank
mouth.
you. Roster clogger. The only
Rondale
sense in that he's not a roster clogger is that he's too small to actually occupy space. So he might just fall through a strainer. But
he's a roster
other than
strainer.
that, he's a clogger.
So then I know the answer just by that sentiment. I know the answer to my next question of would you rather have Allen Robinson, who is
no, Allen Robinson is a
you have to wait.
I can't say bad things about Allen Robinson. It's elder abuse.
Oh, okay. All right. Or Elijah Moore.
I just need Rondale to be healthy. Otherwise, I have to take Elijah
Wait, we're talking
Moore.
about Elijah or
And
Rondale?
you know what? I brought up Hollywood Brown earlier because it's the same feeling. I was all on board, and then he kept dropping everything, worthless. Moves to Arizona, worthless. It's the same kind of feeling with Moore, injured, worthless. So I need him to be healthy, and I want him. If he's not going to be healthy, I would take Elijah Moore.
I mean, Brown was a top 10 wide receiver the first half of the season until he got hurt. Rondale Moore has never touched that. Hollywood Brown buying forever and always. Elijah Moore and Rondale Moore, give me any running back or any draft pick instead of those bums.
All right, so there was a trade on DLF about a week ago. Straight up, Rondale Moore for Darnell Mooney. What side are you taking?
Any
Chase?
other side? Can we? Why these wide receivers?
Well, I mean, because I think Darnell Mooney is actually a viable receiver when he's healthy.
I mean, look, if I'm forced, like you pulled up to my house, you have a shotgun, and you're like, you fucking choose now or die. I'll let you
Darnell
shoot me in
Mooney
the head.
is
But
not
if you
going
do that
to
to one
get
of my, do
the
that to one.
attention from Justin Fields that he needs, and that's already been proven healthy or not. So I don't think that that's
Rondale Moore
valid.
sucks. And look, it's simple as that. Darnell Mooney has actually produced. We've seen him produce, not at a great level. He's a wide receiver 3. But I would definitely take Darnell Mooney well over Mr. Moore.
Rondale Moore finished as a wide receiver 2 or better in over 50% of the contests, and a wide receiver 3 or better in all but 2 contests. So, like, I don't understand why you guys are saying he sucks, but he's actually a good wide receiver.
No, he's not. He's not a good wide receiver.
He's a fine asset.
What makes him a bad wide receiver, Shane? Just because he's injured, that doesn't make him a bad wide receiver.
Well, first of all, the guy's been injured since his sophomore year in college, right? He's literally been injured.
That was 2 weeks ago, though. That was 2 weeks ago.
Every season he's been injured since his sophomore year in college. Hence the fact that he wasn't highly thought of coming out of school. All we had to lean it on was his breakout year that he did once, and then was like, all right, I'm going to be injured the rest of my career. Comes into the pros, he sucks. They tried to use him one way. He wasn't any good at it. So they're like, all right, we're just going to use him as a gadget receiver. That didn't work because he's also not good at that. He's not good.
No.
I mean, he had an 8 out of 5 this year. He had an 8 out of 3 his first year. He has yards per route run was number 48 this year, despite being used in a role that was highly featured towards his skill set in the slot. He's an inferior goods player. I don't understand why a coaching staff at this point would want to be using a guy like that as a centerpiece of their offense, continually living in the short and intermediate areas of the field, even if he is used correctly, or I wouldn't even say correctly. I would say even if he's used a lot to the maximum of his ability. I'm not sure how we get more than a wide receiver 3 out of that. I don't want to roster any wide receiver 3s because they're worthless, and I would rather turn him into anything else. So I don't want Mooney either, though. But I'd rather have 2 third-round picks than any of these guys. I guess if I had to pick any one of the ones that you've mentioned, I would take Elijah Moore, because Elijah Moore actually plays a real wide receiver position and has a pedigree from college and flashed some ability a year ago.
And Chase, real quick, you work for Player Profiler. Just go look on their thing. Rondale Moore finished as the wide receiver 71 or worse in 3 of his 8 games played. I'm not great with math. That's like 30%, like 33%, maybe more than that. I don't know.
Yeah, but that's because he ran one route in those 8 games. So he technically played 7 games.
He played
and in 2 of those, he finished
then
wide
2 out of 7.
71 and 78. And it was overall 24, 34, 6, 16, and 16. Like that.
So
right
the only
there
one I
is-
heard there that's useful is 6. So he's 1 for 7.
Wide receiver
Let's move
2 is
on.
still
Is there a
good
So,
player
yeah,
that doesn't
let's-
suck? 'Cause I want Chase to stop talking, and if you keep talking about players that suck, he's just going to keep inviting him in.
Well, no, I've got to wait on the one player that I know you want to talk about, but Skyy Moore, 23 of 33, or sorry,
Any wide
22
receivers not named Moore to talk about.
That's right. Wide receivers currently on the roster. Juju's a free agent. Is Skyy Moore worth keeping on your roster? Would you rather have Kadarius Toney?
Yes.
No.
Yes,
I would
to both
rather have
questions, I
Bateman.
guess.
Is this an either or? Because I would rather have
Not yet.
Bateman.
Not yet, but
Okay.
yeah.
You could take
Okay.
both.
Well,
You
then
can
yes,
take-
I'd rather have Kadarius Toney than Skyy Moore.
Okay, and so you'd rather have Bateman than Kadarius Toney or Skyy Moore?
Yes.
Dude,
Chase.
I think Kadarius Toney is my favorite offseason buy, like if I can get him, but he might have exceeded his value at this point. I mean, this is a guy that also, once again, is injured constantly, but he's highly efficient with his when he does play. He's seen a 30% target share, I believe, in the games played, or 35% target share in the games played. He's a very good wide receiver. The issue, once again, is just him and his injury history. But Rashad Bateman, if we're bringing that in, hasn't been healthy either. So.
I mean, I like all of these names better than the last group of names.
Oh,
yeah.
So I'll give them that.
Let's let Jacob talk about how much he loves Skyy Moore right now.
I mean, I like him more than Rondale Moore and more than Darnell Mooney and probably more than Elijah Moore, just because I know less about him and all these guys suck. So I'd rather go with the one that I know the least about, because maybe he has the most chance to prove that he doesn't suck.
Wait,
But,
that is such a flawed logic.
No, because all these players are totally irrelevant.
Do you know the least about him because he's not done anything relevant to know him for?
Right, but why would I want to know? Like, if we talk about players that are good, I want the players with the most sample size, because I have the most confidence in what they are, and what they are seems to be good. If we talk about players that are bad, I want the ones with the least sample size, because the ones who've showed me repeatedly that they're bad, I'm pretty confident about. The ones who have not showed me that often that they're bad, maybe they're not. So, like, I already know enough about Mooney and Rondale to know I would rather have anything else. But Skyy, I probably would rather have anything else. And I don't know, maybe not. Toney and Bateman, probably rather have Toney than any of these guys, because he's at least the one guy who has shown in some minute capacity that when his hamstrings remain on the bone and when his team lets him run routes, he actually has some sort of fantasy utility. Whether he can actually ever be a full-time player, probably not. Will his hamstrings ever stay on the bone? Probably not. But I think the whole point of this segment to me until now is probably not. So I think of all of these players, if I had to pick one, it would be Toney. Then I guess followed by Bateman, then followed by Skyy. And then I think I'd rather just have a roster spot than Darnell Mooney and Rondale Moore.
I think I just figured out your analysis. It's just to cover all the bases and confuse everyone, but say yes to everything and no to everything at the same time.
No, I'm not saying yes to Rondale
Also,
Moore.
this is
only
why
no.
I
I'm
gave
only
up my
saying no.
parental rights, Jacob.
No, so wait,
I mean,
Rondale Moore
you gave up
is-
your parental rights to Jacob
Yes.
because of Jacob?
Because of Jacob.
wait, Jacob. So let me get this straight. Rondale Moore, who went healthy, right, during his stretch from weeks 4 through weeks 10, right?
Yeah.
He was one touchdown away from being a wide receiver 1. He was
Oh
one
my God, he
touchdound
was
away.
one touchdown away.
So we're just
From being a
adding
wide
stats
receiver.
now.
Okay,
No,
in
I'm
this
just
little
curious,
slice
'cause he was
top
wide receiver
sample,
17.
which favors him.
But
if
did
we
you know
pretend
that
he had more
Kadarius Toney's in the
touchdowns
same
than
boat.
him.
Kadarius
Did you
Toney's
know
also
that
a very
Skyy
small
Moore-
sample size.
Skyy
Oh my
Moore
God.
was only 2 touchdowns a game away from being a wide receiver 1.
That's not one touchdown again. I'm talking about one touchdown total. If Rondale
just
Moore got in the end zone
touchdown.
on that holding call, then we wouldn't even be having this discussion because he'd be a wide receiver 1 when he was healthy.
Can I want to inject just some sanity into this insane conversation, and I want to let everyone know buy low players are not worth buying. There's a reason that they were buy low. There's a reason that their ADP is dropped. Because their production's bad. Their ADP is dropped, and they rarely, if ever, rebound from that. Buying low, it feels like this, like, oh, they're definitely going to bounce back. Like a lot of times you're buying low on like just they might just keep going, and they're going to be on your roster, and then it's even worse because you're going to keep holding on. Well, I only gave up a second for him, so I'm going to hold on to Tony till 2047, and his hamstrings are going to be healthy then. Don't do it.
Tell that to Brandon Ayuk fans.
What is the lowest rookie pick that you guys would rather have than all of the names that we've mentioned so far on this show? I think I'm comfortable saying the 2-6 for me.
I'll take
the
212 over literally just about every player we've discussed.
Stop.
Wait,
Stop
Bateman and no,
Elijah Moore.
Sony.
You'd sell Elijah Moore for the 212. Stop.
No.
Okay.
Elijah Moore,
Bateman
204. Bateman,
Okay.
205, Tony, 204.5 in a copy league.
In a copy league. You're an asshole.
I'm saying, okay, any name that we've mentioned since the start of the show, give me 206 over them.
Alex is agreeing with.
And then I guess, I mean, what do you guys value these bum ass wide receivers for? There's like 8 wide receivers that matter.
All right, so I love how y'all are picking on the wide receivers that Shane and I have chosen to talk about tonight. But more importantly,
something tells me Shane wasn't extremely excited to talk about every more.
Chase and I decided to talk
I gave
about
him
tonight.
2 names. I said
No, you gave me. Yeah, we got it.
And one other guy that I think the guy that I'm highest on.
Because
this
the problem is when we go to talk about this one guy that you put on there. Like they're both gonna jump like out of their skins because of who we've talked about already.
I gotta look at
be like, oh my god, we gotta talk about somebody. Well,
I gotta look at the show sheet. I want to see.
While Shane's looking at the show sheet, Chase, go ahead and grab a couple of those belts, couple of those rings you got behind you, because we have to talk about Trophy Smack. Trophy Smack, getting you all of your jewelry going on around the belt, around the fingers. Let's get it happening. They also have the nice new wall smack. Yes, wall smack all over the place. That nice thick metal with the magnets going up.
I like it.
It is. It is.
Great, right?
You can swap that stuff out nice and neat. When the boys come over, you can have your football players on the wall. You can have grandma flicking you off, all that kind of good stuff. But when the moms, the dads, the young kids come around, put up your nice little I love yous.
Fuck them kids.
Live, love, laugh.
Kids. You also have you got the Valentines coming. Get those nice pictures in. They'll get you hooked up. You get the nice pictures with the wife and the kids. You can turn around and get mom and dad, put their wall smack on their wall. There you go. Wall smack. And we have a 10% off for you. Advice 10. 10% off. Short-lived. It's going to be short-lived, so go get them. Go get them now.
Hey, go do that right now. I don't see any residuals off of that, but definitely use that. Or use the Trades in 5 promo code that doesn't exist. You can also
I'm just gonna mute them real quick.
You could try the Trades HQ, Dynasty Trades HQ promo that also doesn't exist.
I would love to get you guys hooked up, but unfortunately, you guys
here's what
I hollered at Dynasty Trades HQ. I'm multi.
We've talked to you guys.
Everywhere. Well, you talk to the old guy who's fucking senile and he doesn't remember shit. He's like, Chase said, I'm getting trophy smack rings.
I don't know why any of this matters anyway, because I'm the one that's like, yeah, let's do that.
All right, Kel, I need to get signed up for trades.
Right now, I'm like, I would like to stop for a second, go back to Alex, who says Kelly is right. Kelly is correct.
Yes.
I need to hear more of that. Kelly's correct. I lent some, what do you call it, value to the show just by bringing hair tips.
So I shouldn't wash my hair anymore, is what I'm hearing. No more
once a week.
Once a week really matters on your end, really.
Make sure you guys go use
You can
advice
wash
10.
it, not wash it. You can use shampoo. You can dig it to a car wash. You can just roll around in a puddle.
Yeah, go
Advice
over
10.
there tonight. Get advice 10
At checkout.
check it out.
Yeah.
All right. So
And
here's
ask them
what
why
I'm
they
gonna
don't-
do.
why- and ask them. Make sure you email Trophy Smack or mail them and be like, "Hey, why don't you guys?
No, you gotta
why
write.
don't-
You gotta handwrite that letter.
Why aren't you supporting the trade?"
Just don't.
That was answered last week. So
My
anyway,
only
Trades
advice to you is
HQ.
don't
Dynasty
start
Trades
shaving it
HQ.
off, or you're gonna get some emails from Q.
I'm just saying, Dynasty Trades HQ. We don't.
Jameson
have a
Williams.
Trophy affiliate.
Oh, a player
wide
that is actually
receiver
interesting.
question mark. 6 games. 6 games. 1 of 8, 41 yards, 1 touchdown.
But if you just add one more touchdown,
But if you just add 1 more touchdown, where is his value at right now?
well, apparently
Kelly?
it's very high according to the market aggregations and ADP.
See, and I
People
think it's
are jacked
and I
up.
think you're completely wrong because I think a lot of people have forgotten about him. A lot of people have.
Those would not be the people that are contributing to ADP then.
No, yeah, they what was it? DLF had him at 23, I think it was.
23. What?
Wide receiver 23.
That seems egregious.
And our friends at Keep Trade Cut have him at 16.
And Keep Trade Cut is just an absolute mirror of the community. So you know what that tells us is the community's pretty fucking stupid.
So
Okay,
Where do you have
Jameson
him,
Williams, I think, is worth hanging on to. Jamal Williams took a lot of the spotlight this season. Should Jamal Williams stay? Should Jamal Williams move on? There's going to be room for Jameson Williams to move in and grow. I think that Jameson Williams is one that we need to give at least another year to see where he shakes out.
Yeah, because I think the injury coming out of Alabama, they held him out. You know, they wanted to actually just kind of take his time. But then Christian Kirk actually stepped up this year. You had, of course, Amon-Ra St.
Christian
Brown
Kirk.
step up.
Christian Kirk is on the Lions?
Not Christian
I'm not
Kirk,
Christian
Jamal
Kirk.
Williams.
DJ
and
Truck.
DJ
Amon-Ra
Chark is who
St.
I was.
Brown.
DJ Chark is who I was thinking of. But DJ Chark, but he is a free agent this year, so he can
He'll
walk.
stay.
Well, he may stay, but he
I don't think
can
he'll
walk,
stay.
and then they've got, you've got Williams jumping in the spot right there. Shane.
I mean, look, you wasted.
Oh, you unmuted Shane finally. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous. The
I did
abuse
not.
I take for being on this show is not.
I don't even want to hear it.
Not worth it. I get abused for no reason. I'm a pretty big deal. I don't need this. I'll hold on to Jameson. I mean, I'll cash out if someone wants to give me a first, and I can re-roll.
Let's talk about what we're holding on for. I mean, we're all holding,
Right.
but can we do a little this or that action?
Sure.
Right? I mean, I have interest in Jameson Williams.
Would you pay the
I'm
110?
behind ADP though.
Okay,
he's
well,
valued over
that
rookies
was
like Traylon Burks and Christian Watson.
Dude, I literally just gave you a this or that. Would you take
that
the
was going to
110
be
for
my
Jameson?
that was the exact question I was going to send. Would you give the 110 for Jameson Williams?
110?
Yeah,
sure,
110.
I'll give the 110 for Jameson Williams.
Would you, as Clay would say on Trades in 5, would you go to the 108?
No, that's the difference there. I'll take the 108 over Jameson Williams.
I think I would take Jameson Williams by a hair. I think that's where I split it.
Over the
I'm
108?
taking-
Over the 108?
I think so. I gotta to go through my rookie rankings over this next few months, but
If this seems super arbitrary, where I'm trying to draw the line, I don't actually know where the line will be yet, of course, because we don't have the draft yet. But the line that I envision is that I would rather have the top 3 wide receivers in this class, Quentin Johnson, Jordan Addison, and JSN, all above Jameson Williams. And then I would rather have the top 4 picks, of course, the 2 quarterbacks, Bijan and Gibbs.
yep.
And I would rather have any other quarterback that gets round 1 capital, whether that's Levis or Richardson or both. And then potentially, we're talking about running backs. There's like a whole group of them after Bijan and Gibbs. And I assume a couple of them will wind up in good spots with good capital and a couple won't. And I don't know who they'll be, but that once you sift through all that. So to me, it's like 7 guys for sure I like more than Jameson. Probably going to be at least 1 quarterback, maybe 2, and probably 1 or 2 running backs, but I'm not sure yet. So
That's
it's probably like the 109, 110 is like kind of where I'd end up.
That's pretty much why I said the 108 is because essentially I want the first 4 picks, the 2 running backs, 2 quarterbacks. And then we're likely to see one of these wide receivers end in a terrible, terrible landing spot that we're going to literally be like, why the fuck would they draft him there? So I'll probably take 2 of the wide receivers out of 3, not
That's
knowing
up to
which
the
ones are
landing
which.
spot correspondent. I'll let Shane make that choice for me.
and then we'll probably I'll really like one of these running backs landing spots, where I'll be like, okay, I'll push him back. But yeah, Jameson Williams is right outside the top 3 wide receivers, but I love where he is right now, and I think his situation's great. And I know his situation's changed, but I don't see his changing anytime soon.
Yeah, I'll take any first-round draft pick over Jameson Williams, partly because of the flexibility that the first-round draft pick provides. I can add a first-round draft pick to something else and tier up. I can't add Jameson Williams to mostly anything and tier up because, well, he's a question mark. Well, that's not true. I guess if I'm going to league with Jake or Chase there, I could add Jameson Williams to like Brandon Ayuk and get like AJ Brown off of them.
No, stop.
Don't bring
Get
me
out of
into
here.
this.
Well, no, because there was
No, 'cause
actually
you said you would take the 110.
Yeah,
there was actually a trade on DLF that was
love this.
Williams and
Trade alert.
a 24 first, or I'm sorry, a 23 first. Didn't say where the first was at for Devontae Adams. So I'm going to assume just
no, you
Maybe
don't do
Jameson
that.
Williams.
Yeah, you take the 23 first and Jameson there. That's horrible process trading for a 38-year-old wide receiver.
Even if it's the
he's
112, I'm
30.
taking the Jameson side there.
He's 30.
Look,
yeah.
when it comes to fantasy football, it's just like dating. If they're over 30, they're too old.
What?
And so we'll move on to the young ones. Nice move by so while he's gone,
Shane, you know what?
That's just
I
the
will
way
stand up
it
to any
is.
30-year-old any day. Thank you very much. This is aging like a very fine bourbon.
I'll take that.
What about the 2 guys that I mentioned?
My
Because
old
they're-
Fitzgerald, speaking of.
There's
Oh, wait,
these
you can't see
5
it.
rookie wide receivers that, well, not rookies anymore, I guess, but formerly rookies, to be year 2 wide receivers. It seems that the public consensus, at least, maybe somebody disagrees, but in general, the public consensus has Wilson, Olave, and London as the top 3. But then that next group, Jameson seems to be heading off a group with Christian Watson, Traylon Burks, Jahan Dotson, and George Pickens. My question would be, how many of that group of 5, or I guess 4, because Jameson's one of them, would you take over Jameson Williams right now? I personally would rather have, and it's the same thesis of my backwards logic from before, which is that Burks and Watson showed me things that I'm interested in. So I'd rather have them than Jameson Williams. Pickens and Dotson showed me things that I'm not interested in. So I would rather have the black box. But where do you guys stand? Are there you guys stands with those other guys?
I mean, I'll take him over Dotson because I feel like I know Dotson's a wide receiver 3. If I could find a way to flip Pickens and get JMO plus, I would be ecstatic. Same with Christian Watson. And I think I haven't been put to the test on this. I think I would take him at least over Watson and maybe Pickens.
Why do you hate Christian Watson?
I don't hate Christian Watson. I like Christian Watson.
You hate him. You hate him. You hate his family. You hate his city. You hate his community.
hate
you
most
hate his name. You hate his hair. You hate his
I hit his
numbers, you hate
hands. He
everything
can't
about it.
catch. He dropped the ball. You saw that, right?
it's Shane.
Oh my God! Why is this the drop show? Why do we talk about drops on this show?
No, so I think I would take Jameson for me is probably sitting at 3 over.
What?
No, yeah.
No, don't. Please,
All right,
just
so I got
take the word.
Burks. I got Wilson. I got Burks, and then London and Jameson Williams is where.
Where's Olave?
We have Jameson over Olave.
Oh, I'm sorry, Olave. Olave's 3rd, and then
Okay.
And then-
was
sorry,
about
I
to have
apologize.
I was
I
about to
apologize.
have a.
Yeah, 'cause you
Where's
had-
London?
I
You
actually
had-
have Olave number 2, and then I have Burks number 3, and then I have Jameson and Drake London pretty much tied right there.
No, that's bad. No,
Because
no.
you got to remember you had
I'm glad that Shane's
Olave,
here at least.
Jared
Everybody
Wilson,
feeling.
and Jameson all on the same team, and then Jameson had to actually leave that team in order to get reps or to get the ball. So, yeah, I mean that makes it pretty obvious on the way that goes. Kelly, how do you see those?
I mean, I like this whole topic was about Jameson. I started off saying that I would hold Jameson. I think he needs more time to play. He hasn't played. So I think I'm holding Jameson. I don't like any of those trades. I'm holding him, but I do like Olave. I do like Drake London. Both of those players were pretty pivotal in some of my performing leagues, filling in spots, especially during bye weeks. So yeah, I think that's a decent lineup. But I do like Jameson Williams if we're coming back to that question.
No, that's I think that's where we're going with that. All right, Shane, how much would you pay right now for Calvin Ridley?
So I love Calvin Ridley. Like he's like
yeah,
one of my
baby,
favorite
let's
guys
go.
next year. Alexa, turn off second light.
Alexa, turn on mood lighting.
Actually works.
For anyone wondering, Alexa will actually be a key witness at Shane's solicitation trial in March.
What was the question?
What are you
Ridley.
What are you going out and buying for? What are you gonna go pay for Ridley right now? You know, if he's on the market, what are you gonna pay for him?
I'll give up if I can. I'd like a 24-second. Anything after 204 in this draft.
So you wouldn't give up. You would not give up a
shocking.
20.
So you'd like to pay drastically below his market cost.
Right, you wouldn't
What's
give up a
his
23 first, a
No.
late 23 first, or a random 24 first.
No.
Okay.
But I will pay a random 24 first if I have something to throw around on someone like Jerry Jeudy.
Ugh, I don't like these throwing around 24 first. That seems like a high risk maneuver. I would trade like the 23 1.12 for Ridley. I'd rather do
No,
that than
you
the
wouldn't.
24 first. Yeah.
Chase,
'Cause the 24 first,
Chase,
I mean, 24
Chase is
first
over there. Chase,
high
you
risk,
have an
right?
inbox trade in about 2 minutes.
I mean, 20
Chase is doing it
24
I
already.
don't have any
24
Calvin
first.
Ridley. If I have Calvin Ridley, I would send it in a
24
heartbeat.
24 first, I'm opening myself up to the risk of my team being a lot worse than I thought it was, and now I'm missing out on a star running back quarterback. 23, 111, 112, whatever. It's a wide receiver for
I
a
would
wide
never
receiver.
trade a first for him.
Kelly,
Like, that's
Kelly,
absolutely
who are
absurd.
you? Kelly, who are you, or how much are you willing to pay right now for Calvin Ridley?
I just wish I had a crystal ball to know if it was the Calvin Ridley of yore. I'm really nervous about him not playing and coming back. There's a thing to be said for that, and I don't think anybody's mentioned it. But
It'll be a
think,
full year and a half, roughly,
yeah,
maybe almost 2 years.
Yeah.
Almost 2. And you talk about like he's already 38 years old, and you're trading a first round pick for a 38-year-old receiver who hasn't played in almost 2 years. Like on an offense that doesn't feature downfield receivers nearly as much as it features underneath, like pass steps,
Have you
and a
considered
guy
that
who's never been
potential reason
efficient.
for that is that their
after
best
the
receiver
catch.
was Christian Kirk and
Evan Ingram.
It's still going to be their
Really
best
funky.
receiver. Like, I mean, I honestly think they're going to spend draft capital on the guy pretty early within the first 2 rounds. And all of a sudden, Calvin Ridley is going to be the 4th receiver on that team who's just a deep ball specialist who likes to catch the ball and fall down since he can never get yards after the catch. I mean, that's what he's good at, right? So, like, I don't understand the infatuation with the 38-year-old receiver.
That fictional player that Chase referred to Calvin Ridley as sounds terrible. I wouldn't want anything to do with him.
What is he going to be, 30 before he comes back?
I think it'd be
31?
29. 29.
Okay, 29. You're trading a first-round pick for a 29-year-old receiver.
Okay, but don't say first
with a
round
late
pick
breakout
like
age.
Don't say first round pick like it's a first round pick. It's a first round pick like it's the 1.12, right? I mean, the reason why we value first round picks in the future that are just first round picks with nothing in particular is that they might be really high and you might be able to get a star running back or star quarterback. Once we actually know that first round pick is the 111 or the 112, we're talking about the tier 2 wide receivers. We're talking about the running backs that are getting overdrafted because of landing spot. That's not particularly appealing to me. I'm not moving a 24 first or a 25 first.
What if it's your only first round pick?
It doesn't make any difference.
Yes, it does. It absolutely does. If you
No,
only
it
have
doesn't
one
make a
first round
difference.
pick, you'd still give it up for Calvin Ridley?
The
depend what the pick
112
is.
this past year.
112, yeah.
The 112 this past year was
Christian
Dameon
Watson.
Pierce.
Or
Yeah,
Christian Watson. Yeah.
The only guy who went in that range that I would rather have than Calvin Ridley today is Christian Watson. I would rather have Ridley than Jahan Dotson. I'd rather have Ridley than Pickens. I'd rather have Ridley than Dameon Pierce. I'd rather have Ridley than Kenny Pickett. I'd rather have Ridley than certainly Rashad White, David Bell,
In a weak class.
whatever other guys.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Would you? Okay, well, then your answer is absolutely you'd give up Rondale Moore for Calvin Ridley. That was the question.
Joy of no longer seeing him on my roster.
You're a horrible person. All right, so we're gonna move on. We're gonna go to Tyler Allgeier, running back 29 of the year.
People got no
16
reason.
games, 210 attempts, 1,035 yards, and 3 TDs. He also went 16 of 17 in the receiving game, 139, and a receiving touchdown. Does he take over the lead role in Atlanta?
Didn't he already?
Yeah, I mean
they could go with he was what, a 4th round? He was a 5th round draft pick. You sat there and talked about Dameon Pierce, being a 4th round draft pick. This guy's a 5th round draft pick. Basically came in there, did a hell of a job on a team that went nowhere. You had Cordell Patterson, did a great job last year, but it gave Cordell Patterson a great break, at times. He went over 1,000 yards in his rookie season, did a little bit of catching out of the backfield. Does he take? They still have the opportunity. They can draft somebody. Just like we've talked about with Houston drafting somebody over Dameon Pierce, a 4th round pick. So does he? Okay, so I guess I should ask it like this: has he done enough to earn the lead back role and for them to bypass the running back position in the draft?
So I think I was a big Tyler Allgeier guy on this show, and honestly, I hated his metrics and everything like that, but I still loved his style of play. I loved what he put up with his college statistics. And honestly, Tyler Allgeier is a guy where if they don't get a guy that falls to them in the first couple rounds, where he's elite level, like a Bijan Robinson or something, I don't see them just drafting another guy to accumulate lesser talents. They could end up finding a guy that might play a different role from Tyler Allgeier, more of a pass catcher, finesse type guy, similar to the Ike Hilliard type players, Hilliard, Dontrell Hilliard. Dontrell Hilliard, that to complement the power back that they have in order to get some speed on the field and some pass catching. Tyler Allgeier for me is somebody that I would like to hold on to. I'll send a 3rd round pick for him, maybe a late 2nd, in order to just have him in case he does play that starting role, because it should be.
You don't get him for a 3rd round pick anymore, love.
No, I don't think you will, but you could get him for a late 2nd, possibly.
Maybe for 2nd.
Late 2nd. It just depends on how high people are. The rumors just start swirling, but I wouldn't be sending out too much for him, because then you can end up sitting there with empty hands while a guy like Derrick Henry comes in that fits that mold better and is a more efficient runner, more dominant runner. So I wouldn't go out to acquire him, but I do think that he is 100% worth holding on to. And if you can get him for a later pick, I would take it.
All right,
he earned it. Hell yeah, he was the best rookie running back this year. He was top 5 in PFF rushing grade. He was top 5 in rush yards over expected. He was top 5 in rushes over expected percentage. He was awesome.
That just hurt Shane.
But the question is separate, right? It's, has he earned it? Hell yes, he's earned it. Do players who earn it get totally shafted because teams refuse to let their late round picks shine? Yeah, also constantly. So has he earned it? Yes. Will he get it? I don't fucking know. I think Arthur Smith is a dumbass. I'm not sure what he's going to do in terms of what he brings in or doesn't bring in.
He had the number 2 offense when he was in Tennessee for a year.
Oh, he's good. He's great at scheming offense, but I don't think he understands the macro dynamics of how you build a team over time, right? So do I think that he's going to look at Tyler Allgeier and be like, I can have a totally sufficient running game with this guy who costs me nothing? That's what he should do. But does he look at it and be like, no, I need somebody else because reasons? I don't know. I think he's good. I'm rooting for him. I'm hopeful. There are a lot of guys in the same boat that I like Allgeier more than. He's in a similar range to Rashad White and James Cook, and I'd way rather have Tyler Allgeier than those jamokes. But do I think he's safe? And would I mean, no, I wouldn't give more than the late 2nd round pick for him.
Kelly?
Tyler Allgeier has been on my bench. He's filled spots. I'm with Chase. I think he's worth holding on to. Am I acquiring him? Am I going after him? No. Am I hopeful he's on waivers in some of my other leagues? Yes. Pretty meh on this one.
So you're not actively gonna acquire him, but
No.
if he's there, I'll pick him up.
Yep. If
Shane?
he's there, I'll pick him up. If I have him, he'll just sit there. It's not anything I'm actively excited about.
Shane?
Hey, how's it going? No, I mean,
First time caller, long time listener.
Yeah, I'm not.
Ding 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 ding.
I'm not gonna ever go out and buy a late round running back after his rookie season. Like
I thought that's all you were buying was late round running backs this year.
No, he's not a late round running back anymore. So he's just he's too much of a risk that he can get ethered. Like Jacob said, it doesn't matter if he performed well, because as soon as he doesn't, there's no loyalty. Loyalty is not the word I'm looking for, but there's no cap. They didn't spend any capital.
No role models to speak of.
Oh my God.
So he's just too easy to move on for me. I literally need another season before I'll even buy in.
For all those listening that have just joined in, Jacob has been on a freaking 90s.
You've got to go. Got to go
that
back
was
to
not
start
90s. That was J. Cole. That's from like what, 2014?
It feels like 90s. Sorry.
Wow.
You've done a lot of living in the last 9 years, buddy.
I don't look like I do, but you know.
Shane, would you give up a 24-second for Allgeier?
Yes.
Okay. I think everybody on the panel would, right?
I guess so. If it was offered, yeah.
I'm just not moving any 24 picks. But there's several things that are worth a 24-second that I'd rather have Allgeier than. But like I'm not moving 24 picks out right
I'd probably do a 2027 like
this guy. Oh my Lord. All right, so I want to
suck that year.
I want to whip through a bunch of these others. I know Chase has got a few in here that
I'll take the entire first segment. I'll take Rondale Moore.
Stop. All right,
Moore,
we're past that. We're past that.
Mooney. I'll move them all for Tyler Allgeier.
All right, so
three.
Would you take I mean, I truly like Daniel Bellinger. So
Me
I mean,
too.
I know he was injured. So would you take Daniel Bellinger over Cade Otton?
Yes.
Okay.
I love Bellinger. You know
well,
what?
I mean, Cade Otton was actually a decent play for a lot of the year with Thomas. But yeah, at this
but Bellinger actually
Kelly, tell us about
role. He has a role on the team, and whether or not he gets the ball or not is a different story, but he's actually actively out there playing the role of tight end. I like that about him. I like that he's flexible. I like that he's in the game.
I like
that's the bottom line. They have to be in the game to score.
I knew Shane was coming with that. Good Lord.
What are you talking about?
That was at 56 minutes, Shane. I appreciate that. Good
Still
Lord.
paying attention.
I'll take a Okonkwo over him. I think Okonkwo is.
You take Chiggy.
Wait. You see, you gotta let me lead this train.
I had to still pay attention, Shane.
I had to get over here to Jacob right quick so that I could lead you to Okonkwo.
Well, no, because I was afraid Jacob would take it. So.
No, of course I was going to take him eventually. But I was letting Jay get through his dad runners first, and I was going to remain silent and roll my eyes, and then he was going to say someone I actually like, and then I was going to speak.
You know what? You need to like Bellinger for the very points that I said. He plays the game. He's playing the game.
I have a higher bar than that.
I do
you
like
have
Bellinger
to be on the field in order to make fantasy points.
I do like Bellinger to an extent,
that is a necessary but insufficient condition, right? Like you have to be on the field, but you also have to be good. So, and Bellinger is on the field.
So if I don't have
he is good. He's either blocking or he's running. There's
blocking doesn't score me a lot of fantasy points.
So here's the thing, right? So with Bellinger, I like him on the teams that I don't have a top 6 tight end. Like if I don't have a top 6 tight end and I need to play like a tight end by committee and play the matchups, I'll take Bellinger. Okonkwo is somebody that I want to roster because I think that he could see the same sort of hype that Jonnu Smith saw when Jonnu Smith would fetch you a late first, early second round pick when everybody got all stoked about him. So Okonkwo is going to be in that same category. I'd much rather have a guy that can give me a return on value at the tight end position, but I don't think Okonkwo will actually, ever get to be a top 6 tight end, although I do really like him.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think any of these guys are particularly likely to be top 6 tight ends. I mean, and they're certainly not priced like it. I'll preface this by saying that I do like Chigakonkwo the most out of this group, and he happens to be my most rostered Dynasty tight end, mostly because he was free. That being said, I think that people maybe, I don't know if it's happened yet, but in a world where people get really excited about Chigakonkwo, I think he's limited. What we've seen with guys who profile like him in the sense that he did not have a ton of college production. He does have the athleticism, but he's short, right? We're talking about a 6'3", 240 tight end. To me, he's an H-back, right? He's a guy that's going to be able to be a situational, off-the-line tight end, and that is going to produce a lot of fun stats when we look at per route numbers, right? He's going to be an efficient player. He's going to have a high targets per route run, high yards per route run. He's going to get the creative usage that we want out of a tight end. The question is, how are you going to operate your offense? He's not a tight end that's going to be a guy who I would want to build an 11 personnel offense out of because he's limited in terms of what he provides. He's a guy that I want to be able to use out of the backfield, that I want to be able to use off the line, which to me makes him a 11 personnel third down look specialist when it's third and long and you don't need to kid anybody about not using 4 guys out in a route, or he's a guy who's going to be a 12 personnel tight end playing in the H-back role, the move role. To me, he kind of profiles like a Jonnu Smith, a Robert Tonyan. We've seen these types of guys come into the league before, and I think he'll continue to be efficient. He'll continue to be a good NFL player. The question is, does a team want to build their offense around featuring that player? And considering he's a day 3 pick, and he's kind of found money at this point, I'm skeptical of that. So he's the most interesting to me of the 3 because I think he has the highest upside, but I doubt he realizes it.
But why do they have to feature him? Why can't he
They
just?
probably won't.
They don't need to, though.
Well, to be an elite tight end,
you don't have to be. I mean, we saw it this year. There's like 2, maybe 3 elite tight ends. The rest are, you're rolling dice every week. This, at least this year, we saw it in the real NFL, and we saw it in our game that we play every week. We just Jawan Johnson all of a sudden was a tight end 1. Then all of a sudden, K. Dotton was a tight end 1.
Right.
It would just depend how you play it. He doesn't have to be a tight end 1 every week, but if he's a solid tight end 2, even if he stays at 13. Yeah, but if he's gaining the what is it, 6.5, 7 or 6.8 points per game,
right?
Instead of that 12, 3, 11, 0, 0, 0, 4, give me the 6.8 when it comes to the tight end
position.
position.
Why are you going all in on a tight end? You pick the tight end that's consistent, that's consistently putting up points. He doesn't have to be a feature player. He just has to produce something. And then you put all of your eggs in some other basket. Go feature someone else.
Yeah, I mean, I want to be shooting for the moon. Like, I'm not, the idea of consistent is not appealing to me.
Shoot for the sun. All right. Anyone else having a hell of a hard time getting value for the 101, staring down the barrel of Danny Dimes as your best QB? And the reason I put this question up is because I know Chase wants to talk about Danny Dimes. But before we do this, I know Shane's got to get off. Shane's got shit to do. Shane, tell everybody where they can find you real quick.
Usually at my apartment or work.
Okay, but the lights will be on, right?
Sometimes.
Alexa, turn the second light on.
Turn off first light. No.
My Alexa's going. Alexa took off.
Find me on Twitter at Shane is the worst. Dynasty Trades HQ. Dynasty Trades in 5. DLF in the offseason. All right, that's it. Love you all. Take care. Bye.
Shane, we appreciate you, brother.
All right, we'll answer this question, then we'll call it a night. I know I got Subdue Kelly's slam packed. I know her schedule's insane, and Jacob, he's probably messing around doing nothing, but know how it is.
All he's got to do is go study for law classes.
Exams are over now. We're in a chill spot. No, I got to pick an essay topic, but
there you go. All right, so I want to answer this real quick. Anyone else having a hard time getting rid of getting value for the 101 while staring down the barrel of a Danny Dimes or whatever? Danny Dimes, he was a top 10 or a top 10 quarterback this year. So I don't know that's staring down the barrel.
You guys got to have higher standards in your lives, right? I mean, if there's 12 top quarterbacks and you have the 10th one, then you're not doing well. Then you're 10 out of 12.
Yeah, especially in 2 quarterback leagues. But in single quarterback leagues, that doesn't bother me as much because I don't think there's as big a difference between the elite level and streaming a guy, for Dynasty. But for me, if I'm trying to make a move for the 101, if you could let us know, Jared, in the chat, like if you're playing double quarterback or 2 quarterback, super flex or whatever the case is, because this changes the whole entire complexion of the question. Like if I'm, going out there and grabbing, about to flip the board to quarterbacks and super flex. Okay. So for me, I mean, for the 101
flex. So it is a super flex question then.
Yeah. I think would you be able to get Trevor Lawrence plus in a super flex right now?
Depends. I mean, they go in a similar range, right? I mean, that's what I'd be trying to do. It is what I'm trying to do in every league that I have the 101. Unless I already have 2 elite quarterbacks, I'm trying to trade it for an elite quarterback. And if I can't get an elite quarterback, or I'm trying to trade it for an elite tight end, because I don't want to be living the Bellinger, Okonkwo, Auten triumvirate life.
But you would move like Kelsey.
Well, I want
or
the appropriate plus. I mean, I want any dynasty league that I'm in. I want to roster one of Kelsey, Andrews, or Pitts. And then it's just a matter of figuring out the appropriate cost relative to ADP difference that I would want to get on top of that for the 101.
If Hawkinson got one more touch, no, I'm just kidding.
So okay, I love the thought process there with getting the tight end of like a Kyle Pitts, but if I had the 101 and I sent it to you and I sent the offer as I'll send you the 101 for your Kyle Pitts.
Well, I'm never going to trade Kyle Pitts.
Plus like a Trevor Lawrence.
If anyone ever sends me a trade offer in which I am sending
I know you
Pitts,
personally, but I'm just talking about
rejected.
value.
Well, is this a 2 quarterback or a 1 quarterback in this scenario?
We're going off a super flex.
Off the super flex, right?
Oh, wait, I have to give Lawrence and Kyle Pitts?
I'm asking you if that's fair value in your mind. Or
no, I think Lawrence is more valuable than the 101. I think you should have to add to the 101 to get Lawrence.
Okay.
And I would be willing
where are you sitting, Kelly?
I like Lawrence, but when we look at fantasy points, not just entertaining NFL, he throws a lot of interceptions, and depending on how the scoring is in your league, that's detrimental. So something I'd think about there too when we talk about value.
It's going to be nice having Calvin Ridley as like your 4th wide receiver on your team after they draft a guy behind like Zay Jones. We didn't even bring up Evan Ingram, so it could be like the.
I love what Hosker said, by the way.
Oh, we did. You just didn't hear it. You were blocking us out. You were in the middle of kind of muting Shane.
I love what Hosker said here at the bottom. Well, first of all, I love that he said that I speak the truth, but no, specifically, like Lawrence, people are really hot on Lawrence right now. I mean, I am too. I think for good reason. He's great, but. The guys for sure that people are a little bit more skittish of the elite quarterbacks are Kyler because of the injury, Lamar because of the free agency, and he didn't mention him, and he's not fun to mention because he's a horrible person, but Deshaun Watson. I mean, those are the guys where if you're looking to be able to get X quarterback plus for the 101 and you want to target that elite quarterback, those are probably the 3 that I'd target because I think those are the ones where people aren't loving their like. If you approach the Lawrence manager, right? Person who has Trevor Lawrence, a super flex dynasty, he's probably really
stoked on him, yeah.
Right? Like they're not looking forward to moving him. But there's people that roster Kyle or Lamar Jackson or Deshaun Watson right now that are open to moving on. Me personally, no, I'm not moving these quarterbacks for the 101. I'm moving the 101 for these quarterbacks. But I definitely think you'll find bedwetters with Kyler Murray right now, whereas you'll find very happy people with Trevor Lawrence right now.
What about like Dak Prescott?
I want plus if I'm doing it.
Yeah.
I want Dak plus, but I'm open to that.
I feel like any playoff quarterback is going to be a plus, not just an even trade. But maybe that's just me.
Yeah, I guess that would be my next question. So you've got the Allen, the Burrow, the Mahomes, call it T-Law. I'm trying to think of the what I guess where would be that cutoff of the top maybe 7, maybe 8?
I think it's 2 different cutoffs for me at least. Dak would be the cutoff of where I'm open to doing the idea of a
Bijan, and he's probably 10, right? Probably 10, 11, right. Somewhere in that range.
He wants a
But-
Bellinger and a 108.
Yeah. But Dak is not. The cutoff on where I would move it straight, where I'm just moving 101 for that player and I don't get anything else on top, is probably Lamar based on ADP. And then if I'm doing Kyler, Watson, or Dak, I would do that deal, but I want plus just based on what ADP says I should get.
Okay, that's
Well,
very, very
for
fair.
instance, I did Bijan and the 204 and Chigakonkwo for Deshaun and the 109, and I would do the same
What
deal
about
if I was.
Hurts?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I'd add the world to Bijan for Hurts. Yeah, I'd add a lot.
Can I go ahead and go down the list real quick? And I'm going to assume that like Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, Joe Burrow, Justin Fields, and then
I'm not
Trevor,
buying Justin Fields right now, but yeah.
I'm just saying, like these guys, you would have to add significant amount, right? Like those guys right there, you'd have to add significant amount, and then you probably have to add a little bit to Trevor Lawrence, a little bit to get Justin Herbert, and then after that, that's where the line is drawn with Lamar Jackson, where it's like, okay, I'll do 101 straight up for Lamar Jackson, I'll do 101 straight up for Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
And then after that, you probably end up having, you'd probably be able to get something back for like Dak Prescott. And
I think you probably get something back in return, even with Kyler Murray at this point.
I think you would too. I mean,
Yeah.
Bijan typically goes ahead of Kyler in ADP these days, but
but that's about where the line is, right?
Yeah,
Like,
I think
got
the
close.
cutoff is about 107, 108, or I say 107, 108. It's about 7 or 8 when it comes to the quarterbacks. It's that Lamar range is about where that cutoff is.
And then if we get into like the Tua range, then I'm not even like, even if I'm getting a lot more plus, then I'm just not as interested. Like I don't want to move an elite asset for a package, right? Like I want to stay in that elite range. So if I'm moving Bijan, it's like I'm either doing it for one of those quarterbacks we talked about, one of the tight ends plus, I need a substantial plus just based on the market value. Or, I mean, sure, if somebody wanted to give me Chase or Jefferson or something, I don't know how likely that is, but I wouldn't want to do like the Bijan for the 107 and a 24 first and a 23 second. Like I don't want to dilute, if I'm already at the top of that asset.
Yeah. All right. So I want to end it right here because we're about 10 minutes over. By the time we get done, we'll be close to 15. So, guys, thank you so much for tonight. I enjoyed doing this. Chase, tell everybody where they can find you.
Oh, man, you guys can find me over there at Trophy Smack. We're doing wonderful things, such as the Wall Smack, which you talked about. We got Valentine's Day coming up, fellas. I know it's fast approaching, but if you have a date for Valentine's Day, if you have a girlfriend just taking care of, maybe you buy your mom gifts. Like I actually get my mom a gift for Valentine's Day
So
just to say
sweet,
thank you.
Chase.
Yeah, thank you. I would get her something like this.
We need to get.
But we do have Wall Smack.
We need to get the
available
whole
over there.
crew. We need to get the whole crew the picture of your dog right behind you, so we can do that as he walks in and out. No, you don't.
No, I do. I got it for my mom for Christmas.
Well,
so
I mean,
we actually do have
share
content.
it. Share it. Let's go.
So I'll have to steal it from my mom because I gave it to her for Christmas. She has it up on her wall. I said, "This is your favorite grandson." She actually has.
Look at him. You got his ass right behind you.
I know that's his butt.
No, that's his ass. There he is.
Aww.
So yeah. Anyways, go check us out over there at Trophy Smack. Go get your Wall Smack. Get your pet put on some Wall Smack, people. And don't forget Valentine's Day is coming up. So make sure you take care of your
Advice
girlfriend, significant
10.
other.
Advice 10.
And honestly, it's affordable. So like a lot of this metal wall art that you see online is like super expensive. With the Wall Smack over there, Trophy Smack, it's actually extremely affordable. And you can switch it out. There's his butt. You want to see his butt? It's actually extremely affordable, and you can switch it out because the magnets that come with the wall art don't damage your walls. You can just switch it out whenever you need to. So go check it out over there at TrophySmack.com.
Jacob, where can they find you? What you got going on?
Well, I'll find me on the Bulletproof Discord always. You can find Sweat and Bullets. We kind of released one midweek as we're adjusting schedule, so there won't be one this week, but we'll start up again on Monday and then every Monday. You can find the Full Tilt Dynasty podcast, of course, every Tuesday. If you want to check out the recorded version, I just did a Twitter Spaces talking about the Dynasty running back landscape with Nelly at Analytics and Noah Hills at No More Parties. We just did that for like 2 hours before this show. So if you want to check that out, that's, I think, recorded up on Noah's profile somewhere. And otherwise, I'll be around this off season. So it's fine.
When you said Nelly, I really thought you were gonna start rapping 90s rap.
Dude, if I had done a show with
thank God
Nelly,
you did not do
you
that.
think I would have rapped like 8 other
I
artists
mean,
first?
it's very possible. It's very possible. I just got Kyler for the 104 and car.
I love that.
I like that. I like that. Miss Kelly, where can the people find you?
All over the place, everywhere. Honestly, Chase already gave a great plug for Trophy Smack, where I am humbly the VP of marketing, and I love my job. I love what I do there. I turn down so many tournaments because we provide the prize, and I don't feel like it's fair, even though it has no bearing on the outcome of a tournament. But yeah, Trophy Smack, go check them out. But Women of Fantasy Football, most importantly, at women_of_FF in August. Every year we have a huge fundraiser which helps to provide scholarships for younger women, much younger than me, to find their way into a media boot camp and actually learn how to speak on camera and on a microphone and build a career in broadcasting sports. So I'm super passionate about that. If you're going to be at the Fantasy Football Expo in Canton this year, you will see me there. I will be emceeing the panel again for women who are in sports media. We will have the ballroom and we will have an hour this year. So if you happen to have been left out in the cold last year, this year there will be plenty of space and plenty of time for Q&A. So please do show up for that. And if you love golf, I give my golf DFS advice at teamriserfall.com. Use code KIP for $10 off your first month of membership, where you get to use the same tools that I do, or you can just read my blog, which is free, or watch my podcast with Club Fantasy, which is free.
And if you're an Arizona Cardinals fan, you have
what? I totally forgot about that.
Yes, see?
Which has actually been my newest and most fun project, which is the Sick Podcast Network, which is actually headlined by Adam Rank of NFL Network, who roped me into this thing. And I'm so forever grateful because I love the Sick Podcast Network. It's a huge, amazing, wonderful family. And I'm talking about the Arizona Cardinals in the off season, one show a week. I'm recording on Friday this week. It's normally Thursday, but I'm just spilling the tea on the top headlines while the Cardinals are out of the playoffs and obviously out of the Super Bowl.
Awesome. Awesome. Y'all can find me at FantasyJ77 over on Twitter. That's all for this evening. Chase, for Jacob, for Kelly, we appreciate y'all, all three of you. For Shane, well, I mean, we had Shane here. He left early, Everybody cares about Shane. We love you, Shane. Bye, Shane. For everybody else on the panel, Shane, FF_intervention, Kelly in Phoenix, Jacob Sanderson. Thank y'all, and thank you for letting us intervene with your fantasy life.